What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you what it's like to drive the new Ford GT, and then I'm going to hop in the old Ford GT, all from a first person's point of view, and show you exactly what it'd be like to be behind the driver's seat yourself. This is, of course, the 2019 Gulf Heritage Ford GT, and it is spectacular to look at. 3.5 liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6, yes, it does have a V6, producing 647 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, 2.9 seconds. Top speed, 216 miles an hour. And one of the coolest parts, these flying buttresses that allow for crazy aerodynamics and extra downforce. Look at that. You can literally see through the entire side of the car. Love those exhausts, love the taillights, really love everything about the design of the Ford GT. Let's go ahead, close the passenger side door and hop on in. All right, as we step inside the new Ford GT, you'll notice it is pretty cozy in here, but it's still an incredible place to be. Now, the seats themselves don't actually adjust very much. You can't slide them forward and back. Ford actually uses a solution that they used back in the original GT40, which is this little tab here. Pull on that, and the pedal box itself actually slides back and forth. How crazy is that? I'm gonna go ahead and push it a little bit farther away. Perfect. Now, to turn the Ford GT on, this car, of course, has a 7-speed double-clutch transmission, not a manual like the old car. Gonna go ahead and click this start-stop button here. Put the seatbelt on. I love these seats. They're very comfortable and supportive. And you also can put on this full racing harness if you so desire. Check out the digital tack and speedo. I think that is super cool. The graphics on it are epic. Now, this steering wheel is amazing. It's got everything you need on it and nothing behind it to distract your hands or to get in the way when you're trying to click the paddles. And the actuation of the paddles is phenomenal. Now, to change driving modes, we've got this turn knob here. Everything from VMAX mode, which is if you want to hit 216 miles an hour, this car is top speed, to wet mode if you want to drive it in the rain, normal mode, sport mode, and track mode. In order to put it into track mode, you have to click OK, and then the car slams down and the rear wing pops up. The suspension and dampers are stiffened, and this thing rides like a true race car. We're gonna go ahead and put it back into sport mode, pops back up, just in case we hit any bumps on the road. We've got a pretty self-explanatory infotainment screen here. It doesn't have the best graphics in the world. Climate control is here. It does work well, so that's a plus. Absolutely no storage space in the interior, other than a little bit right behind that passenger side footrest. There's a little gap there. I'm not quite sure. This is kind of a cool design element, but you wouldn't want to put anything here. It would just fling backwards towards you. Now, here's some controls here in the center to put it in drive. Slide it all the way over to D. Traction control button, can put it in comfort mode. And down here, it's got one of the best front lift systems. Watch how fast it goes up in the business. I absolutely love that. In terms of the backup camera, the graphics are okay. It's a little bit wide angle, so kind of hard to tell what you're looking at, but hey, it is a sports car, not a daily driver. Although, as you'll see, it's actually pretty comfortable. Alrighty, let's roll. Well, might as well start off with a launch. Super easy to do. Don't have to do anything, no traction control or specific modes. We're in sport mode. Floor the brake with the left foot, floor the gas. Off we go. All right, I'm gonna be quiet for a second and then we'll talk later. I want to let you hear this thing. I mean, this car is absolutely ridiculous. It is so fun to drive, so raw, so quick. Let's go ahead and hit it with another launch. Oh! Oh, absolutely ridiculous. From a drivability standpoint, it's absolutely phenomenal. The car is glued to the road. The mechanical grip combined with the levels of downforce because of those flying buttresses and that massive rear wing working together with the underbody sucking the car to the road. The speed at which you can traverse through turns is actually unbelievable. Let's go ahead and plunk it into manual mode with the button here. And the level of confidence this car inspires is truly something else. The steering wheel is so nice in your hands. It just fits perfectly. Even though it's Alcantara, it's not slippery whatsoever. It just feels right. And it's such a fun car to drive. Literally, the second you get behind the wheel, you've got a massive smile on your face. The blow-off valve, when you let off the gas, makes the coolest noise. Man, the brakes are phenomenal, slow the car down fantastically well. And the level of control, the lack of body roll. It feels like a scalpel, like a surgical tool for the road. The level of precision and accuracy that you get when driving this thing is unbelievable. And just the thrill and the smile it puts on your face is pretty much unmatched. No, it's not the fastest car in the world in a straight line or around the racetrack, but it certainly is one of the most fun. Holy crap, I love this car. With that, I'll leave you with some more epic Ford GT noises. I'll shut up and then we'll head to the old car. And just like that, it's time to show you exactly what it's like to drive the 2005 and 2006 Ford GT. Both absolutely stunning cars, amazing to drive, but totally different. Unlike the twin turbocharged V6, the 05 and 06 Ford GT has a massive 5.4 liter supercharged V8, making 550 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. And it makes one of the best noises of any car of all time, out of those massive tailpipes that look like they're something out of a military cannon. And look at the size and sharpness of that rear diffuser. Love this Gulf color scheme. They only made 343 of them in this color. And of course, we've got the iconic doors that are very similar to the ones on the GT40, which are cool, but in practicality, they're actually kind of annoying. Check this out. If you want to get into the car in a tight space, you've got to do this kind of duck and act. And yeah, the chances are you're going to hit your head. But regardless, this car isn't about getting in and out. It's about the driving experience, which is incredible. Let's take it for a spin. 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds. Top speed, 205 miles an hour. This car was an absolute legend, performance-wise, for its time back in 2005. Go ahead and close the door. Now, interior-wise, everything is analog. You've got analog gauges. It's, of course, a 6-speed manual, which is one of the best parts about the Ford GT. It's simple, it's driver-focused, and it's actually more comfortable and more spacious inside than the new Ford GT is. We've got this small steering wheel with no buttons or anything, just Ford GT logo in the center. The clutch is actually very easy to press, and the actuation of the shifter itself through the gears is actually very, very easy. Minus, and this is legendary from the 5 things I hate about the Ford GT, it is pretty hard to put the car into reverse. Switch gear here for the lights, massive center mounted tack, speedo tilted towards me so I always know how fast I'm going, and then of course these seats with holes in them like the original GT40 for ventilation so you sweat a little bit less. Another one of my favorite parts is in the rear view mirror, and over your shoulder you can see that supercharger. All right, to turn the car on, turn the key all the way to the right. Now this is something that takes a little bit to get used to actually. This is the engine start button, but it is not the engine stop button. If you click this while the engine's on, it makes a disgusting noise and you don't want to do that. We'll go ahead and fire it up. Oh man, I love the sounds this car makes. Climate control located over here. It actually works quite well for getting the car nice and cool. Now, for the first part of the drive, I'm going to say absolutely nothing so you can hear what this Ford GT is like and kind of imagine yourself driving it. Then I'm going to talk about the driving dynamics. Let's hit it. My God, it sounds so epic. So what's it actually like behind the wheel of the Ford GT? It is visceral, it is loud, it is angry, and it is scary. As you saw in the beginning there, the tail wanted to step out. This thing is crazy tail happy, despite its mid-engine layout. Newer cars have more advanced traction control systems. This thing is so analog that instantly a little bit too much gas and it wanted to go sideways, but that's part of the fun. Now, surprisingly, the steering is really, really light. It's easy. You could almost turn with one finger. It's not quite Rolls-Royce level, but it's a lot lighter than you'd expect from a sports car. The clutch is easy to press. It's easy to shift. The car in general is easy to drive around town, but when you press it harder and harder, it's definitely a lot less forgiving, requires a lot more driver skill than the old car in order to make sure that you stay on the road. In terms of the sound though, I mean, listen to this. It really doesn't get much better than that. It truly doesn't. Oh my God, I am sweating. The intensity behind the wheel of the 06 Ford GT is way, way up there. You really got to be paying attention. Otherwise, this could end up in a ditch very, very easily. But it's just fun, man. There's something to be said about having a manual gearbox. It's never gonna get old, and despite the fact that this is slower than if it had a double clutch, who cares? I'd rather have this car with a manual than any other gearbox. The new one though, it feels so suited for that double clutch transmission, especially with that V6. But you know, this car is so fun to drive, and if it's not quick enough for you, a simple pulley swap and a tune, you're making 700 horsepower, and of course you can go crazier and crazier than that. Good visibility out of the front window. Pretty good visibility over your left and right shoulder. Not the best over the left shoulder, but absolutely doable. It's a weekend cruiser. It's definitely not a daily driver. It's definitely not a road trip car, but man, is it a ton of fun every second behind the wheel. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little point of view head-to-head of the new versus the old Ford GT. Totally different cars, but both epic in their own right. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Which car do you like more and why? Look forward to seeing you guys next video.